That was supposed to be a reel? Oh, well, I made it a film. Okay, this is kind of a Sunday ramble, but it's also kind of weddings. So I don't really know how to do this. Hi everybody, my name is GERKEN and welcome back to the channel. I am a wedding filmmaker from Kansas City, Missouri, and today we are going to be talking about why you want to film weddings. Let's get into it. I don't know what kind of intro to use for this because it's kind of a Sunday ramble, but it's kind of not. I'm very nervous about filming this one and I don't even know why. Maybe it's because I'm underprepared. But it's not, like it's written. Okay, I want to tell you guys a story. This is a story of a baby GERKEN and why GERKEN started filming weddings in the first place. This is a story that I'm not proud to admit happened, but it still happened. But luckily the mindset shift has happened now. When I was back in 2019, I saw a video from Full-Time Filmmaker that was a female wedding videographer filmed 120 weddings in a year, and she makes about $80,000 a year or something like that. Maybe a lot more, I'm not sure. I can link the video down below if you want to go watch it. I remember watching that video and thinking, holy shit, you can make a lot of money in weddings. And from then on, it was, I'm gonna do anything that I can to get into weddings because 1, it's easy, 2, I like film, and 3, you can make a lot of money. Now, the original reason that I went into weddings was because of the money. I saw dollar signs and I went for it. And clearly that didn't work out. More recently, I have discovered the why. More recently, I've discovered why I want to film weddings, and it has nothing to do with money. I recently went to Tennessee a little while ago to film one of my closest friends, her wedding. I remember that there was no strings on that. They paid me to do it, obviously, but when it came to like doing it for work, there were no strings about it. Like I wasn't at the time getting back into weddings. I was just doing it because it was her and because I was, you know, decent at it. And then it turns out to be one of the best videos that I've ever made. And I'm like, okay, well, that was fun, really fun, but I don't do this for a living anymore. And then I went back again in October to film their wedding. And that wedding made me enter back into the game. Back into the wedding industry. Because of how determined I was to make it. All I wanted to do was get up and edit. And all I wanted to do was get up and film. I was so excited to be there with them. And not just because they were my friends, but also because of what I was doing. I loved the work. I loved it. But for some reason back in 2020, 2021, I couldn't love it. I don't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. So after I had filmed those 2 videos, I realized, okay, I want to get back into the wedding industry. What do I need to do? Long story short, I went back and I looked and I found out that the reason that I wasn't enjoying the work had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with the work I was doing. It had everything to do with what I was filming. There were very specific films that I loved filming. There were, of course, all of my clients I loved working with, but it's just the actual wedding themselves that I didn't love filming. What I loved filming was stuff just with the couple. Elopements, micro wedding, the times where I get more time out of the day with them. That's what I loved filming. And recently I went to Oregon to film my dream wedding. Literally, I mean, it was like on a silver platter. It was my dream wedding. It was an intimate wedding in a backyard, which is where I love to film. I love backyard weddings. The couple was fantastic and they were gorgeous people. And I remember thinking, why am I not doing this for a living? Like those 4 days in Oregon were the best 4 days of my life. I literally saw my dream life handed to me on a silver fucking platter. And I thought, why weren't you doing this before? So my advice to you, the reason that I'm making this video is to make sure that you're entering for the right reasons. You don't have to know that reason yet, but don't enter for the money. That's the biggest thing. Because if you enter for the money, you're never gonna go anywhere. You have to enter for something else. You have to realize that this is what you're passionate about, that this is what you want to do. Don't get so caught up in the game that you forget to play. Find your why. Take some time, sit with yourself, come up with an ideal client avatar or whatever they're doing these days, and really think about the type of wedding that you want to film. And if you want to, go through Pinterest and see like, oh my gosh, I would really love to film there. Oh my gosh, I would really love to film that. Oh, I love this style. And you will eventually find your why. You will eventually find what kind of weddings you want to shoot and what you will show up. To find your why and reflect on what you love to film and what kind of people you love to film and how you feel when you're filming what you love to film. That's your why. The feeling that you feel when you're doing what you love, that's why you started. That's what's gonna keep you going. For me, one of the reasons I got back into it had nothing to do with the film. It had nothing to do with the gorgeous location I was in. It had everything to do with the couple's reaction. They still talk about it to this day. Every single time I see them, they tell me how much they love our video. And I think this is why I entered. Because you now have something that you're gonna show your kid in 20 years. You're gonna be able to look back on that in 20 years and think, oh my God, that is still the most perfect video I've ever seen. Whenever they have hard times in their marriage, they're gonna look back on that video and think, this is why we're in love. That's why I show up to work every day. To show people, to remind people they're in love. To show people how in love they are. There are going to be incredibly hard times throughout this whole thing. Throughout this whole process of being a videographer, being a wedding videographer, even being a business owner in anything, there are going to be hard times. There are going to be times where you just want to pack it all up and quit. But knowing your why, knowing why you show up to work every day, there's always going to be that little voice in the back of your head that tells you that you cannot stop doing this. And when I actually quit weddings, like what I thought was for good, there was always that voice in the back of my head that said, this is why you do this. The reaction of people is why you do this. Making people feel something for 8 minutes is why you do this. I've already been talking for a very long time, so I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. When there are hard times, not if, but when. When there are hard times, listen to that voice in the back of your head that's telling you why you need to show up. Listen to that voice. Don't listen to the voice that's telling you to quit. Listen to your why. Tune out everything else. Show up and go to work. I think that's all I have for you today. This was a fun video to film. Sorry if it's pretty long, but also you listen to my Sunday rambles, so like who cares? I love you all. I hope you guys are hardworking. If you need any love, leave it down below in the comments and I will give you all the love that I can. Sending all the love to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.